Wile E. Coyote. Genius.
Cause I'm rowdy. Coyote.
The fiscal cliff. Always reminds us of Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunners. Here comes the cliff. Here comes the sign. Yikes! It's almost here. 8:37, 1140 WRVA and Richmond's Morning News. Our next guest evidently told a group of business people, though, it will be avoided. A deal will be done. Did you really say that, Senator Mark Warner?
Jimmy, it's good to talk to you. You know, it's the Christmas season. You got to be an optimist. But
hang on. You're praying for a Christmas miracle. That's what you're telling me.
Really? I mean, yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. Oh God, Jimmy, I hope so. I mean, it's the thing that, amongst the many things that drive me a little crazy in my job now, is that it seems these negotiations in Washington, that there is this sense that you have to play the whole clock out until the very end. And what I don't think some of the members understand is this time, if you're playing it out during the holiday season, one, people aren't hiring. Two, people may not be shopping and buying as much if they feel like we may have this catastrophe happening on January 1st. We all kind of know the parameters of what's going to happen. Let's get it done sooner than later. Those of us who've been involved in it for the last 2 years, who've got a series of ideas, we've stepped back, let the president and the speaker, I think they have to work the big frame out. But there's an awful lot of us in both parties ready to do our part if we can get at least the frame of something done.
Although there's still people in both parties, including Democrats right now, who seem to feel that, we'll just go ahead. Let's just go ahead and let the fiscal cliff come. It's not that big of a deal, and then Republicans will be forced to negotiate.
Yeah, I mean, I hear that from both sides, and I even read some quote unquote noteworthy economists who say that it won't be that big a thing. But here's what I say: we dodged a bullet twice. I thought we'd have more of a negative effect when we went through that whole debacle on the debt ceiling, and then when the super committee whiffed. With the uncertainty in the world's economy at this point, even if the chance is only 10, 20, 30% that we might have the kind of deep fall off, why would we take that chance? Beyond the fact of what it will do to disrupt the economy in the short term, and God forbid, with the uncertainty in Europe, remember, we don't have the ability, the Fed doesn't have the ability to lower interest rates again. We've used all of our kind of extraordinary bullets in the past in 2008, so let's get this done. The good upside is, as well, if we put in framework, and it's going to have to be some level of two-step, a down payment, and then, additional to do tax reform and finish entitlement reform. But the upside to the world markets, that if we showed that we could have a serious $4 trillion plus debt reduction plan, that would attract more capital to our country, quite honestly, than anything Governor Romney or President Obama talked about as a specific program in the presidential campaign. I'm
hearing, Senator, though, that there's not even a consensus among all the politicians on the very simple thing of tax hikes and spending cuts. And from spending cuts, for example, there are some who believe that this ailing economy needs to have more money spent, that there needs to be more stimulus put in. And we can't afford to spend more, can we?
No, listen, are there ways that we could advance some additional infrastructure spending, which is kind of either, as we know in Virginia, driving on Virginia roads, it's pay me now or pay me later. There may be an opportunity there, but the idea of some kind of massive stimulus similar to what after 2008, nobody believes that. The best stimulus we can do is get the trillions of dollars of private capital that's sitting in not high-performing accounts off the sidelines into private investment if there is the sense that we're going to actually have a deal. And as somebody who did pretty good living in the 90s with some of these rates that we're talking about going back up to 39%, for example, for folks who've been successful, I think that we can abide that. Quite honestly, I would change on some of these rate increases that are being talked about. I would have that go to a debt reduction only fund, so that we could actually at least put an audit trail that we're using this to start paying down the debt. I think we could reframe some of this debate if we did that into almost a war bond campaign where every American would have a part to play, whether it's in having some program perhaps cut back or contributing a little bit more to make sure that we get this debt under control, as opposed to this kind of us versus them.
Boy, you'd have to come up with a foolproof lockbox to convince Americans that you're not going to take that money and spend it on something else.
Yeah, well, Jimmy, part of it is even if we're paying down the interest, that's paying down the debt. I hear what you're saying, but the framing of this back and forth that's going on, kind of, we had the election, it's over, the president won, let's work together, though, and get this done, and really make this a rallying cry. I believe there is a way to make this a rallying cry.
Is there, Senator, any sort of a plan on paper at all at this point, at least a starting point?
Well, listen, we've got Simpson Bowles out there. We've got the Gang of Six. We've got legislation that has been written by us and by others. We all know the kind of framework. Getting the part written. There's lots of us who there stand ready. We don't want to get in the way of the president and the speaker, but there's going to have. The sooner that we can get some give from both, the better.
Now about that bet I lost regarding you. I bet a friend $10 that you'd have enough. You'd be one term and done in the United States Senate. And you'd run again for governor, and I appear to have lost the bet, unless, of course, you're willing to change your mind again.
Well, let's put it.
I thought you were thoroughly frustrated enough. The heck with this being a senator thing.
Why would you think and you and your listeners from the tone of my voice about this? But here's what I felt, Jimmy, is I loved being governor. It was the best job I've ever had, and I had a 2-to-1 Republican legislature. We still got stuff done, but at this moment, I felt like I'm all in on trying to get this debt and deficit fixed, and I think the people of Virginia, and I hope I'm making some value-add contribution, to try to work through this. And then because, we got to not only get over the cliff, but we got to deal then with full-fledged tax reform, and we got to deal with entitlement
reform.
Right.
In that case, Senator, get in there and get her done. Good to talk to you this morning.
Jimmy, I tell you, though, I miss Richmond.
Well, I can't blame you for that, Senator.
Happy holidays.
And to you, sir. Senator, you bet. Senator Mark Warner.